Here now, Dr. Art Laffer, who served on President Ronald Reagan's Economic Policy Advisory Board, also an economic advisor to the Trump campaign and author of Trumponomics, so he's a fan of the program, and Austin Goolsbee, President Obama's former chief economist. Welcome, gentlemen. Good to have both of you with us today. So, you look at some of these numbers. The Dow is up more than 6,000 points since President Trump was elected. The GDP is very strong, up 3.5% and 4.2% in the last quarters. And yet, Austin, let me start with you. You do see this weakness in the market, largely led by tech stocks, which a lot of people think were quite overvalued.
Well, wait a minute. The main thing driving, there may be overvalue in the stock market, but the main thing driving the market into the ground is fear that Donald Trump is starting a trade war between the two biggest economies of the world. Art and I are old friends, and while we disagree on many things, we are going to 100% agree that a trade war and tariffs are not a good idea.
All right.
He's completely correct. By the way, old friends. I'm old. He's young, but we both University of Chicago, both Yale, we share a lot of background. Austin and I do, and I agree with him totally. A trade war is not good for the economy. In fact, it's really horrible. But I do think the other policies in this administration are great, and I think trade will turn out to be good. The tax cuts are the best I've seen in first term of any president. The deregulation is phenomenal. I think Powell at the Fed is doing a great job. And
some people think he's raised interest rates too much, and that's one of the problems that you're seeing here. So you're seeing a flight into the fixed income market and out of stocks because people think that's a better investment at this point.
No, you've got to have the market rate set by the market, not by some Fed chairman, frankly. And at 20% interest rates, which we had when we came into office, that's way too high. It killed the housing market. When the rates are too low, it kills the funds going into the housing market. We had the 8 worst years in new housing starts per 10,000 population in the last 8 years. It was just terrible. And we need to have markets rates set by the market, not by the Fed. And I think that's a great move. What Powell is doing, moving them back up to normal, that's the way it should be done. But the rest of the policies, I mean, Martha, seriously, there's nothing out there that I see that would cause this economy to move into a recession or a depression or anything else. I think Larry Kudlow's exactly correct on this, and I just hope the trade stuff moves faster and we get a free trade deal right away. I mean, the president's told me personally he doesn't want to use tariffs. That's the only leverage he has to get them to negotiate and cut tariffs and cut barriers. But Austin's completely correct. A trade war would be catastrophic.
All right. So if there's a solution that relieves the trade war concern, Austin, do the fundamentals still look good to you here?
Well, look, I hope that the market would return, but I don't know. I would say this is the caution. It was on this program, Martha, and I told you when Donald Trump earlier in the year got up to brag about how much the stock market was up. I said that is a very risky thing to do because if you accept the judgment of the stock market in the positive, then you have to accept the judgment in the negative. The tax cut has been in place starting January 1, 2018. The stock market is down since the tax cut came into effect. And I think they better pay attention and stop bragging about that.
You got enormous consumer confidence numbers. You have more people entering the workforce. When you look, I've got a list of really positive overall environmental economic figures here. Art, I'm going to give you the last word.
Well, the last word is the market's been flat, but this is exactly what happened to the Reagan situation. We had the market trough just before the boom of '83, and that's what I expect will happen here on 2019 when all of this starts steeping and coming to fruition. I think you're going to see a very good economy for a long period of time, and I'm very excited with the numbers that are showing now.
We will see who's right. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Great to see both of you tonight.
Thank you. Thank you, Martha.
So it is an all too familiar story of he said, she said.